Everyone, welcome to an all new mini episode of the the Loud Casa Talks. And happy early Halloween for everybody who is currently like in a Halloween mood. I know we are currently in Halloween moods. We're currently in our cosplays. We're not in our usual like outfits and everything. So, um, for those who know, my name is Nate. Of course, Omid right there, Lynn Jr., who he's
Oh yeah.
cosplaying right now.
Hey, what's up, Loud Crown and Casa crew? Lynn Sandy is in the house and she's ready to review some good episodes.
I'm kind of wondering, Omid, have you had this cosplay for quite a while?
Oh yeah,
When
man.
was the last time
Me-
we did this? Like 2017, if I remember correctly.
yeah, man. Now me and this cosplay go a long way back. I very first time I wore this was actually back in Fanime of 2017, and ever since then I've been wearing it to many other events in the future. I remember I wore it in World Animation Celebration Festival,
Hmm.
where it was me as Lynn and you as Lars, also known as Male Lucy.
Yeah,
And I also wore this in
what
I
is
also
over
wore
at
this
Hydra
in
Comic Con, if I remember
and
correctly.
I
When
Hydra Comic Con, yes.
when the voice of Lori, Catherine Tabers was there. Yeah, I remember you dressed
And
up as
also
her. I was
yes,
just being a Lori fan.
yes, Hydra Comic Con, man, that was a sweet memory. I'll never forget. Catherine Tabor saw my cosplay. She was like so amazed by it.
Actually, it's crazy because like I think when she took a picture of you, I think she tagged like Jessica
She tagged
DeSico.
Jessica. She sent to Jessica, and you know, like I heard that she really liked it too. So it's like, bless my heart,
You-
touch my heart.
Man, I really hope we can actually meet up with these guest stars. I mean, that was the only time we can actually meet up with Cat Tabers. And then I met up with Justice Sicko over at Anime Expo one year. But the rest of them I haven't actually met, like Nika Futterman, Lara, who voices Lisa.
Christina
Yeah,
Pushelli.
yeah, Christina Pacelli
Christina
too.
Pushelli.
Like I can't even freaking find her either, but she's also around as well. But yeah, we're celebrating Halloween early. Omid, what other Halloween plans have you got coming up?
I think like this weekend, it's pretty much gonna be me hanging out with some friends over the weekend, and on Sunday night, I on Sunday night I plan to go to a Halloween party, but unfortunately, since I got work on Monday, I won't be staying there for too long, like just a few
Mm,
hours.
that's fine. I mean, for us, we're probably going to just watch a movie and get half off Chipotle, which is what we always do apparently. Yeah, but hopefully you guys have an awesome Halloween. I mean, we're dressed up for the occasion right now. By the way, I'm not dressed up as this. I'm gonna be probably doing other cosplays as well. You can see right here what I'm gonna be cosplaying.
I
All
know too
right.
well, man.
The show was freaking awesome, by the way. Anyways, besides that, let's actually break it down. We have a awesome Halloween episodes of the Loud House and the Casgrandes we'll get through. So let's actually start it off with the Loud House episode that came out on October 22nd, which was last Friday, and it's called Fright Bite. Synopsis here says, when a vampire moves into Royal Woods, Lucy must convince him to turn the Mortician's Club into vampires. So first off, it seems that we're going to go with a route that Lucy, if whenever we're going to see Lucy in the Loud House, we need to have the Mortician's Club with them. How did you like that we're having another episode of Lucy and the Mortician's Club?
Oh my god, yes. Now we're gonna talk about this episode starring my roommate and my sis, Lucy Loud. Yes, this girl is gonna be
Nice.
our guest for tonight. So, say hi, Lucy.
Mhm.
Hi. So anyway, Lucy Loud, how are
Hello.
you? So first off, okay. Now Lucy has always been one of my favorite Louds, one of my favorite characters, like top 10 even. So to see her again with the Morticians Club, I actually welcomed it, to be honest. The Morticians Club themselves are really likable in their own ways. Lucy, Haikyuu, and Boris, they're the most memorable of the bunch, and the rest, well, they're more background or side characters than anything else.
The thing though is like I believe we're kind of following a route where like if we're ever gonna put a Lucy episode, we need to actually have Morticians Club with them as well. I mean, we've had it before with Ghosted being one episode. You can see She's All Bad, a Lucy episode that also did include the Morticians Club. But the other thing too is like the Morticians Club does have their own episodes, which I thought were also pretty cool. Like Sandcastles, for example, that was an awesome one. This one in and of itself was also pretty good as well. And this is pretty much like them just being them, being gothic, being into vampires and things like that. This is just their normal routine of what the Morticians Club is, and it's awesome seeing like Lucy just pretty much go around with gods. And the fact that we have more character building with other characters like Boris or Dante and Haiku, for example, because I know we just always saw Haiku as a person who just who was like a date for Lincoln, but now look at her now. She's like absolutely awesome as we continue to talk about her, you know?
Yeah.
So there's like I said, like they just keep on putting up more about these secondary characters, and you know what though? I mean, for episodes like with the Morticians Club, they actually turn out to be, you know, really awesome. They turn out to be like really fun. But we'll continue. We'll break down more as we continue reviewing the episode. So let's move on ahead here, because we'll go back into the episode right now. Though let's actually break this down here, because this mysterious guy that was lounging pretty much around Royal Woods' cemetery gave up some vibes of a vampire, right? I mean, look, he got dark skin, he loves blood, he took away a lot of mirrors, recruiting people to become vampires, for example. From the first few scenes with this guy, do you assume that he was actually a vampire?
Well, no and yes. Why I don't really assume on the spot that he was a vampire is because, well, real vampires don't usually mesh into the real world like the Loud House. But then again, we apparently do have ghosts. We apparently have super spies. We apparently have time traveling of all things. So if by any chance it was revealed that he was really a vampire, it wouldn't be too out of place for the Loud House. So like I said, you know, this show is mostly grounded in reality, mostly, but there are some supernatural elements here and there. So honestly, if it turns out he's really a vampire, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise.
You know, it kind of got me back into the whole thing like family bonding, for example, where, you know, we all thought the neighbors were just absolutely just neighbors, but they actually were spies. So I'm kind of feeling like they're kind of doing that twist right there, because when I was watching through the episode, I was feeling like, oh my god, he did recruit them as vampires. I mean, he literally like took a lot of people from the mall and then made them vampires. So I'm like, okay, maybe he is a vampire. And I love the fact that like throughout the episode, they tried their best to actually like get a bite from him. And what did they have to do? Play DDR, say that their blood is rushing. My neck is in pain. I need someone to bite it or something like that. And I think the best part of it all was the fact that Lucy and the squad became normies, and I thought that was absolutely cool. Actually, seeing them in normal outfits.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that part actually. Yeah, I remember when they dressed up as normies. Like I'm gonna be honest. It may seem a bit creepy of these kids to follow this guy around and try to get his attention, you know, as if he is their senpai or something. It's not this. However, I don't think it's that surprising that they would follow him around, given that, okay, number one, Lucy is the kind of character that sneaks around people anyways. I mean, she literally jump scares other characters. That's her thing. Right. Number two, they are kids. And as kids who do love creepy, dark stuff like vampires, it makes sense for them to do what they did. Oh, and also, Whitney Fox and Sammy Crowley cameos, y'all. What's up? Woo! We got some cameos here.
And the other thing too is like there's only like one small cameo. I'm like, yeah, Whitney's back, so it kind of tells me that she didn't graduate either. Okay. Remember Dana? Remember back in what was it? In the Nick of Time, we were thinking that Dana wasn't graduating because she was also part of like the high school. So I'm guessing we're still trying to figure out who graduated with Laura and who didn't. So we're in that little mix right there.
Also, fan artists, come get your food, man. Like,
is it because of the whole like them looking cute? I mean, like, yeah,
the normies, man. You know, the fan artists, like Demon artists, could be like, you know, they're gonna like, get to work like, as soon as the episode's over.
It's so weird to see like what was it, Dante being a jock, wearing like, you know, Royal Woods football wear while everybody else looks cute. I mean, Lucy in a purple suit, that looked pretty interesting. although for the one guy with glasses, I forgot his name, but
was it Dante? No, it was
Dante else. Dante was the guy who had his like eyes continue to be like poison, like his eyes was continue to water just because he has like mustard or ketchup or lemon juice in the eyes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but honestly, aside from Lucy, Haikyuu, and Boris, I cannot for life remember
Persephone.
Who any of the others are.
There's Persephone, who is the umbrella girl. but I forgot the guy who has glasses on. But the guy who was wearing glasses, I thought he looked like SpongeBob. In a way, like he was wearing a white polo and brown pants. It kind of tells me SpongeBob, right? It's like SpongeBob vibes.
I have a feeling they did that on purpose because
A little callback, a little callback. I mean, they do a lot of callbacks to other Nickelodeon shows. Look back at Lisa's kindergarten.
Yeah, that's true. We never forget that poster.
But yeah, to say the least, though, I love these scenes. I just love how the Morticians Club continues to like do their best to get like a bite from the guy because they thought he was a vampire, and it's just awesome seeing these two just being like, you know, they're gothic, but at the same time they're actually just look like cool normal people. Like besides the fact that they're goth and black and everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Now here's the thing.
Yeah, man. When they even try to talk normie, like, you know, like pour lemonade and all this stuff like that.
Lemonade.
Like, that was actually pure comedy gold.
I love the fact that Persephone tried to do her best like lemonade. I know you're trying to like scream lemonade, but like lemonade. Dante, on the other hand, has like a weird voice too. He's like,
that was really funny, man.
It is really funny. I actually do like this group. I think like after like what happened in Ghosted and then other episodes that came up, like She's All Bat, then we start to actually love the Morticians Club a whole lot more. Episodes like this actually are just awesome to see.
Yeah, man. I agree. This. Go ahead.
So go ahead.
This actually episode makes me want more of the Morticians Club because there's just so much you could do with them. There's so much.
I know. Maybe more episodes will come out in season 5.
They went to a beach, okay? They went to a beach. All right. I rest my case.
They went to a beach and they had a fun time. They were just thinking of just being in the whole tent for the whole dang time. All right. So convinced that this guy was a vampire, Lucy and the entire club had a mission to get bitten by and become vampires, which would be their dream to be. So what did you like from their ways of becoming a vampire?
I really do think that basically the ways that they try to get him to pretty much, you know, bite them per se. I thought that, you know, the plot points were really thought out. I thought they were engaging to watch. You could pretty much tell that, you know, how desperate they are to get, you know, this you know, guy to, you know, quote unquote bite him. And then, you know, when the normie thing doesn't work, obviously, you know, they have to pretty much say, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. And what you know, they were literally so desperate, they had to push him to, you know, bite them. I'm just like, okay, guys, I know you really, you know, like this guy, you want to become vampires, but come on, you know, leave the poor guy alone. You can't be that desperate as to push him. I mean,
I think the fact
that's kind of harassment. That's kind of harassment.
I think the best thing of all is the fact that, you know, I know they went all desperate mode, and love the fact that like they all went out to tackle him and say like, bite us, make us become vampires. I'm like, okay. Oh, actually, out of context, that sounds really bad.
It kind of does.
Yeah. So with them not doing the deed, they instead confronted him at the cemetery in order to make him bite, only to find out they were just filming an episode of The Vampires of Melancholia, their favorite TV show. So how'd you like how this ending went?
From the director who brought you ARG, Vampires of Melancholia. Seriously, it's the exact same director as Are You For Real? Like, it's the same director. And also, Mrs. Bernardo really does nail the role, like how she stays in character while at the same time she has fun with it. And also like when the whole thing was real, I think I gotta be honest, the best part about this was honestly when Edwin spoke to the Morticians Club and they were like hogging him, like I think they were fangirls.
I thought it was cute. Look, the thing is that they all love Edwin just because he's a vampire.
Yeah.
Also, shout outs to that one jock who became a vampire. Remember? Continuity came back, by the way.
Yes.
If you remember from that episode, remember the episode Fandom Pains?
Yes. Blake Bradley came back.
Oh my god. Tristan.
Yes. I didn't expect him to make it, but you know, yeah, they still kept him because they knew that, like, even 2 seasons later, Blake Bradley is still an essential character in Vampires of Melancholia. You know, despite Lucy's, initial dismay per se.
I gotta say this though. I mean, it was awesome just to have that continuity again. So it kind of tells you like, oh, they haven't lost Blake Bradley. They just pretty much not have him like in the show. Oh no, he's gonna become a big emphasis in the show. Heck, what happened? What happened when he just appeared again? So it's like, oh, so he's back again, and he's also being the same old jock that he is. So he's a vampire jock. Even if he's remember back in Phantom Pains, he was just like a human. And then he became a vampire, when the season came in or something like that. So they pretty much picked it up and then they made it to the brand new season. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy that they actually continued with that.
I think what should have happened was that Lucy should have told Blake Bradley, the guy, she should have been like, oh, by the way, Lori and Lenny say hi.
Oh my god, no! They could have got They could have had like a cut scene where like they get autographs of both characters, and of course, like Lucy brings back the autograph to Lori and Lenny. Of course, they're gonna fight for it.
Yes, see, that would have been perfect. That would have been a perfect opportunity for a good continuity reference. Yeah.
By the way, that's an idea for all you comic people fans out there. Whoever writes comics,
do it.
What
are you waiting for? What are you all waiting for? You all chicken?
Oh my god! All right. Anyways, what else do you want to? Anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yes. If I could sum up this episode in 3 words, it would be this. Like this episode in a nutshell is basically, bite me, senpai. This is basically the entire episode in a nutshell is just bite me, senpai. Like that's all I could say. Overall, though, it was a relatively good Morticians Club episode. Like a definitely fun watch for sure. It was engaging to see them pretty much like work together to get this guy like their senpai in their eyes to notice them, and it paid off in the end, but they got to be in the Vampires of Malakari TV show anyway. So basically, it was Lucy's dream come true. And for that, I'm going to give this I'll give this an 8 out of 10. Not one of the best of the season, but definitely a worthwhile watch. It's definitely a small treat before we get to the king size candy.
A good way to put it there. The other thing too is that when I saw Fright Bite, I thought it was going to be like a 30-minute episode, or like 15-minute episodes or something like that. But I didn't expect Fright Bite to be 15 minutes, and I'm like, okay, so this wasn't really. I wouldn't quote this a Halloween episode. This is just mostly like a typical episode of just Lucy and the Morticians Club just having fun. So this could be just put out as a normal episode, not a Halloween episode. So the promotions for it to be a Halloween episode was just kind of like a little off topic there because it doesn't feel like Halloweeny when I first saw this episode. Nonetheless, I maybe like the thing is that the episode made me love the Morticians Club a whole lot more. I really hope more episodes come out in season 6. I feel like the way that they're doing it right now is that if you want to continue character building with Lucy, we're gonna have the Morticians Club with her. So
and Rocky.
Who's Rocky? Who's this Rocky you're talking about?
Bring back Rocky. Bring back Rocky.
Who is this Rocky you're talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Who's this Rocky person?
Rocky Balboa? No, it's all serious.
Wait. That's already copyright infringement. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a huge lawsuit happening. Nonetheless, though, it was a really fun episode. If I were to rate this episode, I will also give it an 8 out of 10. Fun, wholesome fun. It was also funny. But overall, 8 out of 10. I would say not a bad episode of Morticians Club.
You hear that, sis? You got yourself a sweet episode. You got yourself a good episode. Congratulations to you, sis.
I don't know why. I don't know why Lynn Jr.'s here while I have a ton of Lynn Jr.'s over here.
Oh, man.
It's like mom, dad. It's like son, sister, and mother.
Wait a minute. Are those Lisa's clones? Are those clones that Lisa, I told you to get your clones of me, like put them in your safe closet.
Too bad. I got a couple of them here. So Lisa's hooking me up with a couple of lids.
Typical Lise.
All right. So, you know what, Lynn, we should move on to the next episode as we talk about the 30-minute episode that came out also on October 22nd. Was it October? Yeah, it's around that. Sorry. Yeah, October 22nd. I forgot the date. Anyways, let's head over to the special of the Casagrandes called Curse of the Candy Goblin. Now let's talk about the synopsis here. It is a 30-minute episode, so we gotta probably gonna take a while to talk about this. But anyways, you're all here for a fun time, right, guys? So synopsis here is: when the kids take trick or treating too far, they must return their candy to the neighborhood goblin. Now, first off, everyone's in costume, and some costumes were really good. And come to think of it, what do you think? References from other episodes?
Yes,
So
yes.
continuity again has been helping out the Casagrandes here. So which of the outfits did you like the most out of them?
Oh my god, I don't even know where to start. Like the very first minute of this episode, I was like, oh my god, yes, yes. This episode is off to an amazing start. We see each of these kids dress up in their appropriate, and I do mean appropriate to the max, costumes. You got Carl dressed up as El Falcone. Oh, by the way, feel free to debate who wore better, Carl or Bobby. Anyways, you got Carlotta dressed as Alyssa. That is, by the way, that is so cute of Carlotta to dress up as her BFF. It's just, oh, so touching.
Mm.
And then, like, after Carl makes a snide comment towards her, Ronnie Ann shows up out of nowhere, dressed up as La Tormenta, as she tackles Carl to the ground, basically doing the whole "we girls gotta stick together" thing. You know, basically telling Carl, tonight's forecast, payback, while also complimenting Carlotta on her costume. Next, you see Bobby as a walker, I mean, zombie.
Walker. What?
And then the most wholesome and most heartfelt costume of the bunch is, of course, CJ as his abuelo Hector. Oh my god, I just loved when he dressed as his elder. It is such a massive sign of respect. Like, not just by the detail, not just by the appearance, but also by the heart. Honestly, this is similar to how Tilly dressed up as her father Bill in the Big City Greens episode Squashed. It's just really sweet to watch. CJ even got his mannerisms down to a T as well. Oh, and also major points with Bobby saying, "Two abuelos!" Ah! That one kind of laughed out of me, not gonna lie. Oh, and also you got Carlitos as a ghost, which is a straight up adorable. And also, now let's talk about Sergio as the devil. I gotta be honest, I love how even the writers know how much of a foul-feathered Satan he is. Let me tell you, all of them were spot on.
Just because it was wearing horns and it looked like the devil, I swear the fact that you actually like think that he's a devil, like he's a real devil in disguise.
It's like, I saw what they did there.
I get it. Everybody thinks that what is it? That Sergio is an evil person. I mean, yes, he is an evil person because he actually killed a chicken. But
the worst part.
I like the fact when we got introduced to this episode, I was like, oh my god, reference back to all the amazing episodes we actually watched. So, for example, you have Saving's face when we watched Ronnie Ann become La Tormenta. We didn't know that she was going to be a huge hero to Ronnie Ann. So when she dresses up as her, I thought it was like awesome seeing her being her favorite wrestler. You get back to Operation Popstar when we saw Carlota dress up as Alyssa. Yeah, dressed up as Alyssa. So it just tells me like, okay, we're really flashing back to all these awesome moments. And of course, Carl from Dynamic Do-Over dressing up as El Falcone. Then again, he's a fan of El Falcone, so it makes sense for him to dress up as his superhero. The most clever one was CJ as Abuelo. It's like amazing the way that he actually pulled it off too. I mean, it actually worked. I know. The fact that Bobby actually like was shocked to see two Abuelos or something like that. But I just love the fact that these costumes were very cleverly made because, like, who knows? Maybe Ronnie Ann could be back in her candy outfit. This one was like so much better considering, like, you know, this time they pulled off Halloween in a much better way with having their costumes and referencing back to old episodes. And I thought this was awesome that, you know, we get these whole continuity issues. We always get these whole continuity points come back again. It just tells me that they love these characters, that they would do anything to dress up for them for Halloween. And it worked out. And all paid off, by the way. It looked really nice.
Yes. Like, that is just a sweet touch of continuity, like, from all aspects. Like the amount of costumes they wore, all the callbacks and references to the previous episodes. Like, oh my god, sight to behold.
Here's the thing. out of all the costumes, which one did you like the most?
That's kind of tough for me to say, honestly. It's honestly, it's sort of a three-way tie between Ronnie and his La Tormenta, Carl. No, actually, no, I can't decide between any of them. Like all of them look really good. I would say the two that stand out to me the most are Ronnie and his La Tormenta and CJ as Abuelo.
I think I really do like Carlota's outfit and Radiance as well. I mean, look, just the callback from the first season, callback from all the favorite season episodes that we love. I mean, I love the fact that they call it back and they actually dressed them up as the characters, and I thought they looked perfect with them as La Tormenta and Alyssa, which is awesome. It just okay. I'm getting it. The Casagrandes is listening to us and saying like, "Where's our?" We've been saying about continuity happening in the Loud House and the Casagrandes, and they're really doing justice here the second in season 2. That's for sure.
Definitely, man. I couldn't agree more, man.
Now, Sergio. Now, here's the other thing too. That all these 5 awesome characters have their awesome outfits, but there are other people that also wanted to join in as well, like Sergio and Carlito. They wanted to join in the trick or treat fun, but were denied. This would be something important later in the episode. But did you feel that they couldn't be able to join the competition to get most of the candy at Halloween? Do you feel bad for them that they couldn't be able to make it?
Oh my god, yeah. I felt bad for poor Carlitos that he couldn't join in on the fun. As for Sergio, well, what do you think? Now, without giving anything away, them being rejected from the trick-or-treat competition is going to play a huge role in the episode, but we're going to get to that when we get to that.
Yes, we will get to that when we get to that. But throughout, when you actually saw that moment, I'm sort of feeling bad for Carlito because she was actually dressed up as a ghost and it looked pretty cute in it. But knowing that he's a baby, they said you're too young for trick or treating, so we can't let you be a part of our games. So it's unfortunate. I feel bad for him because yeah, he's growing up. Although it kind of tells me like he's growing up. That's the reason why he wants to be a part of their games, which is pretty cute actually.
I think so. Like it's more of a you know how you have the like. There's this like little kid, this little brother who wants to be in with the cool kids, the cool gang, like his big brother and his friends. Like I remember I was the same way like that when I was little. I would always like, want to join in on my brother's and his, friends things. Like I could relate to Carlitos on some level like that because that used to be me when I was little. So there is like a part of me that does feel like, okay, I do see how Carlitos is feeling.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I just feel bad for Carlitos just because he's a baby and, couldn't be able to go to the games. But in that moment, I'm kind of feeling like, oh. All right, so off goes the kids as they trick-or-treat around the neighborhood to get the most candy while the Mercado goes back into the haunted Mercado. Wait a minute, are we going back to continuity again? They're becoming the haunted Mercado again. So we're called back to new haunts. Is that true, guys?
Call back to new haunts, but we're talking about a far superior Halloween episode right now, man. So
yeah, I mean, a haunted maze because the Mercado became a haunted maze where the parents would take over and scare the visitors instead of the kids. So how impressed were you seeing the haunted Mercado and all the continuity that shows in these scenes?
Oh, they did an amazing job making the Mercado place so haunted. Let me tell you, Lucy Loud would be proud. Look at that. Look at that. She looks so proud. Look at that. You can clearly tell. She looks so proud. I am so very proud. Anyway, so you got the eyeballs, you got the evil pinatas, you got the brains, you got the lighting, you got the announcement, you got the spider webs. Oh my God. You could tell they went all out with the place. You could tell that they got the Halloween spirit, and the Halloween spirit really does shine here. Oh God, yeah. And I got to talk about this scene. So you got Laird who's entering the haunted Mercado, and as he's entering the Mercado, you got Maria opening the fridge, dressed up as a scary nurse, and says, "This is where I keep my bodies, Laird," and lets out a wicked laugh. And then that's when Laird runs away screaming. It's just like. You can tell that Maria had so much fun with this one. I was just like, oh my God, I love this woman. I really, really, really do. And then you see the adults dressed up in their costumes too. You got Carlos as an alien with with Vito dressing in the same costume. You got Frida in the red disco suit. Was it a red disco suit or was it something else? A jumpsuit, right? I don't know. And then you got Rosa.
Looks like a jumpsuit to me. Yeah.
And then you got Rosa as a spider. So, yeah, definitely all of them look great in their costumes too. It's not just the kids.
I gotta ask you this: was there continuity from the costumes that they're wearing?
Well, I think the only thing that I can think of is just Maria as the scary nurse.
No,
She works as a nurse.
I don't know if you actually saw this, but Frida as that in that red suit was actually a callback to VIP, if you remember correctly.
Oh my god! Yeah,
she was dressing up in that red suit that she was dressed up in.
You know, to be honest, like I just remembered it now. It's just like, oh yeah, she did dress up as in that costume in VIP.
Yep. That's what I was trying to say here. There's some there's some huge continuity that also happened in this episode.
Yeah, you see, to be honest, I like VIPs, but there are some parts where it's just like, that sort of, I sort of forgot that she dressed up as, in the
now how about Rosa though? She was dressed up as a spider. Does that also call back to another episode of the Casagrandes?
Okay, I'm trying to. I don't think I remember too well.
No, it's Fails from the Crypt. Remember that episode? Remember that other Halloween episode?
Oh yeah, that one.
Remember she dressed up as a spider to defend their crowd.
Yeah, and it's the one where they try to scare the kids in order to protect their rift, protect their territory.
Like I said, I love what they did with the whole callbacks to old reference episodes. No doubt about it. They did that with Frida and Rosa, and I was like, that's awesome. And of course, we saw like Carlos and Abuelo, dressed up for Halloween. I love the fact that Vito was dressing up for Halloween and even had like some costumes that he had as well, but they're also like copying from the Casagrandes. He's like, oh, I don't want to be an alien. We can't be having the same costume, so he has to go back and forth. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I do like how, like, when he tried to dress up the second time in another costume, he sees like this floaty floaty.
Oh, what was it called? It's that one wavy guy, right? That
one wavy floaty thing, like
just the inflatable tube man. Yeah, the inflatable tube man, whatever that is.
The inflatable tube man dressed up in a costume, and the Beetle looks at us and it's like, oh man, the same costume again. I was like, that was another home runner. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but then again, we also another callback. I didn't expect the inflatable tube man to come back from the bird has flown. Like, what is this? Like a callback? Card of a festival or something like that. It kind of feels like they really went all out when it comes to calling back to all previous episodes of the Casagrandes.
Yeah, pretty much. By the way, screw that inflatable tube man. Like, Bobby deserved that Employee of the Month award, not that guy. He was wrong.
Do you want to go back? Do you want to go back to that episode? Remember, we reviewed it badly, so.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to go back to that episode, please.
Right. We're not going back to the past. We're talking about this episode right now. Anyways, so of course we get this montage where we get to see Ronnie Ann, Bobby, Carlota, CJ, and Carl pretty much go through all these candy. Go through all the neighborhood and just get all the candy. Which neighbor visits did you like the most, actually?
I think my favorites were definitely the ones with Nelson Nakamura, where he basically had them lined up in a similar fashion.
Yeah, that was good.
In a similar fashion to how Lori had the Louds lined up in No Guts, No Lori, while handing them each can of the candy one at a time. And then you also got Margarita, who's dressed up as a mixture of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's bride together. You got the Frankenstein's wife's hair, but then you got Frankenstein's makeup. I would have said Par would have been an excellent opportunity had it been like the problem with Par's scene was that instead of Ronnie Ann and Carlota being the one by Par's story, it should have been Bobby, man, because dude, they're BFFs, man. How can you not have a Bobby and Par scene right there? You had to call an opportunity.
No, one other thing that he also forgot to mention was Miranda. Remember, Miranda gave all the candy to CJ,
and I think she thought that it was really Abuelo, and she's like, "Oh, you're such a good Abuelo. Here, take all this candy."
I thought that was pretty cool, but like this whole montage was actually pretty cool. All of them going through neighborhoods, and then it also gives you a callback to like all the neighbors that they also went to. So we remember we know Miss Flores, we know Miranda, we know Mr. Nakamura, and then we also get to go throughout the entire city to say, and we also get to see Margarita, which we haven't seen in quite a while. We also get to see Par, which we have seen in a couple episodes. But nonetheless, it was just awesome to see, like, look, the neighborhood's here. They're all dressed up in costume as well. They're also giving you candy. And they're also helping you out in this trick-or-treat game, to say. And this is awesome just to see that.
Yeah, I love that little competition, that montage of them trick or treating, all that stuff. The way like all these these comebacks that they throw at each other, the ways that they trick the others, and especially like with and especially with Carl trying to trick Carlota, and then Ronnie Ann later tricks Carlota, and then she's like, "I expected this from Carl, but not from you."
That's true, actually. I mean, that one was actually pretty interesting. Because, yeah, you get that from Carl, but Ronnie Ann actually being all, jerky like Carl, you never expect that. Anyways, let's move on here because, yeah, the kids would go throughout the neighborhood until they reached one more house that would give a warning to only pick up one, or else a candy goblin would get them. Fortunately, they didn't listen to that, and well, he would come by and also haunt them. Were you expecting this to happen?
Like, honestly, I kind of was expecting to happen, because I'm going to be honest, I especially like how the story is set up, like at this moment where it already has the potential to give an important Halloween themed moral, which is that greed can really be your downfall. And let me tell you, like, your greed, it can come back to bite you even before you take a bite out of any candy.
Now, I mean, the way that it kind of got portrayed, I mean, like, obviously the episode is Curse of the Candy Goblin, so obviously this is Candy Goblin that comes out. So from all the previews and everything that I've seen, I know that there's going to be something that's going to haunt them, but the way that they get haunted was obviously a little rule breaking, so it makes sense why this goblin would come in just to haunt them now. They're kind of like it's already like known from the beginning. It's like, oh yeah, this candy goblin is going to get him because they didn't follow the rules. So let this goblin come over and start haunting them throughout the whole Halloween night.
Yeah,
So
honestly, at the end of the day,
it was expected. It was expected, especially knowing the title and everything. So, we're just about. The thing is that when you're watching the episode, it's a matter of time when he'll come and pop up and start haunting the kids. But it wasn't until we know why he was starting to haunt the kids, and there you go. There it is. It's just one candy in the house, or else you're gonna get cursed by the candy goblin.
Yeah, honestly, they brought this on themselves.
True. All right, so now the candy goblin's going to get them for not following the rules. And again, the kids will continue to try to escape from his grasp by running and hiding away from it. So explain your thoughts throughout this whole sequence of them hiding throughout the apartments and trying to get away from this candy goblin that's haunting them.
Yeah, honestly, even though they did bring this on themselves, I did feel scared for them. Like, I really wanted the kids to escape from this candy goblin. And there's even more hilarious scenes and funny wacky chases and all this stuff, but they basically try to find their hiding place, and then Bobby has a hard time trying to find a hiding place of his own. And then I think, like, especially like the scene where that really gets me, like, laughing and all that stuff. I'm just like, oh my god, that was just excellent character dialogue. Was after Carl makes a deal with Bobby, and that like, if Bobby hides with him, Bobby has to give Carl the candy. So they go and hide in the bathroom, right? And so they hide in the bathtub, and then Bobby sees Ronnie Ann hiding, and he's like, "Oh, Ronnie Ann, is this your hiding place?" And then Ronnie Ann
taking
is
a
like,
bath. No, I'm
taking a bubble bath. Of course, this is my hiding spot. I'm just like, yes,
that's great.
Yes,
that was a great way for.
yes.
That was a good Ronnie Ann line, actually.
I love how Ronnie Ann still carries that sass with her. Like, Ronnie Ann still has her sassy moments. Like, even after post Loud House, even after post Relative Chaos, she still has that sass to her. I just love it. I just love that scene.
I think overall this sequence is just absolutely like terrifying to say. I mean, yeah, the candy goblin comes in, and then they went back into Carl, CJ's, and Carlota's apartment just to hide from them and just close the doors and everything until the candy goblin came in and tried to haunt them. So they tried to hide into their rooms, and he just kept on going up and trying to scare them. Throughout this whole sequence, I was just like, okay, I'm kind of scared too. It's like, I hope nothing bad ever happens to the kids. Oh no, hopefully Ronnie Ann doesn't get hurt or anything like that. She actually get pulled, which I thought was hurtful. But yeah, it's just insane. And to say the least of me, did it give you a little scare when you actually saw the sequence of like events as they try to escape from this candy goblin?
Like I said, it did give me a little scare because, like I said before, I do want them to successfully escape. Also, another thing, another really great scene is when they're hiding under the bed, and then the candy goblin goes, you stole like the candy you stole. Now you have to pay the toll. And then Bobby just goes, the guy may be terrifying, but he's got a knack for rhyming. I just love that.
Nonetheless, it was pretty scary to say the least. And if you're a person who actually watched it for the first time, you probably would be like, "Oh snap! I hope that the kids don't die or anything like that. Hopefully, will get taken away or anything." But yeah, it was just like a frightening moment sometimes when you actually see the whole sequence come to mind. So for the candy goblin to leave, the kids must give back the candy from the house of the candy goblin. But instead of giving the candy, he actually took Carlitos. Here comes trouble.
No! Not baby nap. He baby napped.
He baby napped him. Yeah, he baby napped Carlitos. Oh, so now it's a rescue mission to bring him back, which led them to entering the haunted house, which to bring back their entire candy stock to get back to Carlitos. How'd you like this part where they entered that haunted house, trying to get back Carlitos?
The Haunted Mansion. Oh my God. Yes. The Haunted Mansion. What can I say about it except it is such great detail to animation. My God, the storyboard artists, they really nailed it when it came to the Haunted Mansion. The moving pictures, the trap wall, the interior look of the mansion, down to the creepy dolls. Oh my God, bro, the creepy dolls, they do not screw around, man. Let me tell you, the moment you see them, they'll be like in your nightmares like every single night. Oh, and also they added the clown there too. Not to mention, the rescue scene is actually really executed very well. It really shows how far they are willing to go in order to save Carlitos. And so in order to save Carlitos, basically what happens is that they have to trade the candy, give it to the candy goblin in exchange for Carlitos. Now, though it was harder for some than others, Carl, they were actually willing to do that in the end in order to save their baby that they love.
I thought this was absolutely like awesome. Just the fact that in detail, but the whole haunted mansion thing was just the fact that like everything felt all creepy. Like the haunted pictures that are looking at you all the time. The dolls I think was the most detailed part. I'm like, holy crap, these dolls are actually creepy. Like you go through like each shot of the dolls and they're like, as a spider crawling one of them. And it makes sense why Carl would be like freaked out because it's like dolls. It's like I draw the line when if there's dolls around, and I feel the same way too, considering how creepy they look like. And then it's just okay. So the haunted house is amazing. Why isn't that actually a real thing where they actually like go inside the haunted house and become like a scare? Like a scare competition or something for like people around Great Lake City? Why not have that as an idea or something? But instead they closed it up and made it for the candy goblin.
Yeah, man. Exactly, man.
And the whole bargaining part where he's like, here's the candy from I don't know about this part, but it's like when he said, oh, give me all your candy instead of the candy that you brought back from the mansion. It's like, oh, come on. Then you got to give back all the candy. You got to give me all the candy from all the other Halloweens you guys go to. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of like way too much.
Not too much of that. He also said that they have to bring him candy like next year too.
So yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, also, does it feel like a little suspicious to you? It's like, why after giving back the candy from the house, why give back the candy from all that you have earned, and also for next year? It's fine. It's quite interesting when you actually think about it because it tells me like who's behind it all.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, the candy goblin seems a little sus to me. Like candy goblin, you're kind of sus.
I mean,
Okay, I'm not
like,
gonna lie.
okay, granted, he was voiced by an awesome actor. I forgot the name of it, by the way. But he seemed weird. I mean, like, if you gotta look back into the characters of like who could be behind the Candy Goblin, I'm like, who exactly? Because it kind of felt all real when you actually watch throughout the whole thing. But in the end, you also do get to see who is underneath the Candy Goblin. But before you actually saw who the Candy Goblin is, it kind of felt like this thing is real. And like, oh my god, this guy seemed like he was about to scare kids. But at the end, when he started to like say, "Oh, give me candy from all of this year and next year, etc., now it just tells you like, okay, something's giving it away. Who's the one who's actually gonna bargain like this?
Yeah, it's sort of like, you sort of want to go into Scooby-Doo Fred mode to be like, all right, who's the man behind the villainous mask? Yeah, like you know that Fred meme. You kind of feel like if I was there, I definitely would have had that moment.
Right, right. Either way, I mean, it just felt weird, especially that ending part here, where it's like, oh yeah, we're not going to deal with you anymore by giving you all our candy, and we'll give you candy for next year. It kind of tells me like, okay, there's some vibe coming off it. It's like there's somebody suspicious in this episode that should be the Candy Goblin, but we'll continue on with the episode for now. Lastly, the kids would eventually free their parents from the haunted Mercado after being stuck there throughout the night due to Vito's costume being stuck. And how'd you like this little side story of the parents being stuck in the Mercado? And how did you like the ending overall, where the kids would apologize for Carlitos for not being there, for not going with them trick or treating and ending up in this mess?
Now, what can I say about the B plot? So basically, okay, this is a similar case to Operation Popstar, whereas the A plot was pure gold, especially in terms of the writing and the character bonding and the lesson. The B plot, on the other hand, is pretty weak. I mean, really, you had an opportunity to create an engaging story centered around a haunted Mercado, and I mean really haunted down to a T. And your plot is that Vito's costume is stuck between the doors? I mean, come on. Okay, first of all, the fat character that is like getting stuck, getting stuck in between the inside and the outside. Okay, first of all, Winnie the Pooh did this better. Okay, Winnie the Pooh did this plot better. Second of all, you could have instead have a plot where there are teenagers who are hard to scare, or maybe even a rivalry amongst the adults about who's the scariest. But no, you had to go with the Vito is stuck plot because hardy har har, fat costumes being stuck is funny. I'm like, Casagrandes, you're better than this. Come on. Now let's move on to the A plot, the far superior plot, where the kids feel bad about the way they treated Carlitos in the Halloween, and so they apologize to him, and so like they forgive him, all is well and all this stuff. That part was really wholesome. That part was really touching. What made it even better, though, at least in terms of one of the characters' part, is that it sort of builds up to a massive twist that comes at the end that we're going to touch upon right now.
But let me talk about like how this side story was. And yeah, I mean, there could have been more emphasis on the parents, for example. Like we could have had more, Frida Carlos interaction, maybe Maria, maybe we had some, some more lines and things like that. But no, they ended up just, having Maria have like one little scare, and at the end, just try to save Vito from that stuck door, I guess. But that was pretty much it. Like throughout the whole B story of this episode, it's just pretty much them trying to get Vito stuck, and the only way to get him unstuck was tamales. And and then the other. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was like, yeah, the side story was pretty much all tamales that pretty much got him out. Either way, they were still stuck in there, so they couldn't even get out the costume until the kids came in and started pushing it away. So it's like, oh, okay, so that pretty much all collaborates all into one ending scene there. Where all the kids, well, here's the thing too. I love the fact that the ending too, where like Bobby's trying to explain about this whole Candy Goblin thing. It's like the Candy Goblin's trying to steal our money, and we can't even do all this, blah blah blah. And then the parents just laughed at it. And I'm like, oh man, yes, it's a silly story from how Bobby explains it, but it was real that happened.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of surprised that chocolate didn't work Because you'd expect the power of the
It worked.
Champa of all
It
things to
worked,
actually
but
work.
it worked, but it cracked his like
Not
front.
completely though. It didn't work completely. It didn't work fully. It only
Right,
worked
right.
part way. But I'm just surprised it didn't completely work.
Mm-hmm. Well, nonetheless, I mean, they still got out of it by having the kids just push the costume out of the way.
And then you
And
got Bobby unleashing his inner Maria, not Maria, inner Frida. I would
Inner
say
Frida.
Bobby unleashing his inner Frida as he breaks down emotionally crying as he describes all the events that the kids had to go through in the Halloween. It's like I was sort of laughing with the adults. This is like mainly at Bobby though for how over the top crying he was. It's like yeah, like you get this with Frida, like you know he. Like he gets this with Frida.
I think so, just because the Casagrandes are dramatic as well. So I'm guessing Bobby gets his dramatic genes from Frida.
Probably.
Probably, yeah. And the other thing that also talk about is to apologize to Carlitos, because like Carlitos was pretty much pretty much dragged throughout this whole episode. If you notice that Carlitos was almost like getting taken by the candy goblin in one scene because they only care about their candy more. And I'm like, oh god, these kids don't understand. And the other thing too is like Carlitos was even warning them, saying like, "There's a candy goblin," and then they're all saying like, "Shut up, Carlito!" And I'm like, oh no, this is all gonna bite them in the end. And of course, it did bite them in the end, where Carlitos actually got taken away from the candy goblin. So the apology was definitely there, and yeah, Carlitos was dragged throughout this whole episode so badly. I felt bad for him throughout it, but then at the ending scene, kind of like gave my little thing about Carlitos a little bit. My feeling for Carlitos got a little bit different after seeing the ending of the episode.
Yeah, honestly, like what we're talking about is of course the plot twist.
Right. So the thing is that, you're thinking that this is over after they apologized to Carlito, but unfortunately this wasn't over yet. It turned out that the people behind the candy goblin was actually Sergio and Sancho, all planned up by Carlitos, by the way. Oh, I didn't know Carlitos is also behind this as well. So to say the least, Carlitos, Sergio, and Sancho actually made a great plan to actually get their candy. So they would enjoy the candy the kids would give them because of them playing the candy goblin until they knew there actually was a candy goblin. And that ends the episode there, by the way. So how did you like the ending? And were you surprised that it was Sergio all along in the candy goblin outfit?
Who's been messing up everything? It's been Sergio all along. I mean, really. Honestly, the ending was way too predictable. Like, honestly, I think it was a bit too obvious that it was actually, the pesky birds that were behind this. But I was sort of surprised to see how, Carlitos was involved in this as well. It really does show how Carlito is, a baby with a brain. It's just like, even though he's a baby, like he's kind of ingenious in a way. It's like it's kind of scary to think about.
Has Fluff Love given you any idea that she's actually a pretty smart kid, even though he might be a little baby?
Yeah, and honestly, now like it was predictable, but at least with the birds at Carlitos, they did have proper motivation for doing this. Even Sergio, of all characters, did have a slightly good reason as to why he's scaring the kids, but like at the end of the day, like I like how they weren't doing this, just for the sake of being mean or just for the sake of scaring the kids, just for the sake of it. No, they did have legit good reasons too. Like they were left out of the trick-or-treating competition, and on Sancho's part, even though I would argue he did deserve it because, well, he was god awful in Just Be Cool. He did get trampled over by the kids, and so that's what made him want to pretty much join in Carlitos and Sergio on, Operation Dress Up as a Candy Goblin and then scare the Casagrandes to give him some candy and think of a short name for this operation into action.
That's not. By the way, I don't think Sergio would actually look through Lincoln's playbook in order to do that kind of plan.
Yeah, no, he's not smart at all like Lincoln. Lincoln's much more smarter than Sergio could ever
be. I think the thing that really kind of gets me, especially if you're like so engaged into the episode, you kind of do wonder who was behind the goblin all along. And yeah, I was actually pretty surprised to not gonna lie, I was actually pretty surprised to see Sergio be the one to actually be behind it all. But then again, like I said, there was a little suspicious when he started acting, saying like, give me your candy for this or that. This is kind of feels like, oh, okay, this kind of makes sense why Sergio would do something like that. He would like to bargain like that. Give me your candy for next year and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, I think by that line especially, I think that line should be a giveaway. It's just like, okay, yeah, I think I know who it's gonna be. I think I know who it's gonna be.
I was fooled too. Okay, I didn't know that it was Sergio that was going to be behind the Goblin outfit all along. To say, but the other twist too was that I didn't know Carlitos would actually be behind it too. Look, he was playing innocent throughout this whole thing. Like, you never expected him to get like to be behind this all along. I'm like, oh, he was just pretty much playing kidnapped or, playing concerned, I guess.
Yeah, here's the thing. Now, that is the only part of this entire twist that actually works, because you never really expected him to actually do something like this. It's the only part that works because it was legitimately surprising. Whereas with the birds, on the other hand, it's way too obvious, because in one way or another, when the Casagrandes end up getting into some shenanigans, one way or another, the damn birds are a part of this one way or another.
Nonetheless, did you feel like Carlitos and Sergio actually ended up getting them back really well?
I actually thought that, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to lie, I actually thought that was sort of clever in their part. That was actually really clever.
It's like
little do they know that there's actually a real candy goblin right behind them.
Yeah, so there was really a candy goblin. I think that was the other twist too. Like, oh my god, there's a real candy goblin. Guys, watch out now. But no, I never. No, but the thing is, like, oh, I didn't know that they actually talked about like making a plan to scare the kids during Halloween, during the episode, because they kind of kept it hidden throughout the whole thing. But I just love the twist. I thought that was actually pretty clever from a little kid named Carlitos and Sergio to actually work together and get the candy that they deserve. Anything else you want to put up in this episode?
Yes, I'm just going to say right now, like I said, where I was sort of expecting a Fright Bite to be the better episode, and then Curse the Candy Goblin to be subpar. But it was surprising to know that it was actually the other way around. Because when I looked at the synopsis alone, I'm going to be honest, when I looked at the synopsis alone of Curse of the Candy Goblin, I found out that, we all thought that it mainly evolved around Carl. We were just like, oh, here we go again. Another Carl episode, because everybody loves Carl, even though Casagrandes is focused on God's sake of Ronnie Ann. But what caught me by surprise, I mean legitimately great surprise, was that it was actually not just Carl. It was actually focused around the Casagrande kids as a whole. And I was just like, yes, thank you. See, this is how you do a Casagrandes Halloween episode. Focus on like the entire gang, not just, season 2's and Seren's favorite character.
Wow, this is a callback to Seren. Oh, Seren's not gonna like you now.
No offense, Seren. No, love you, buddy, but yeah, no offense, man.
Hey, I didn't put up that. Okay, do not get me out of the treehouse sessions just because of Omid's thing.
Anyway, so yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how this episode turned out. Like I said, this was an ultimate king-size candy, and like the atmosphere, the elements that make the Halloween, spirit work. The storyboard artists really nailed the Haunted Mansion, the Haunted Mercado all together. The kids really had great chemistry. The costumes were done really well. Such great callbacks to previous episodes. And also the banter and the competition between the kids was just so memorable. It's just that this is definitely a must watch again. This is an episode I will watch again and again and again. Honestly, I would say that it is on par with Tricked. Honestly, it is just that great of an episode. That's quite a good
feat there of comparing Halloween episodes.
Like, it is on par with Tricked. It is just that good. But I think what sort of like brought it down a notch was, like I said, the B plot was really weak. It's like really like you could have done better with the B plot. But regardless, I think I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. Aside from the B plot, honestly, everything else about the episode really worked. The A plot was pure gold.
I think the A plot really pretty much took over the whole entire episode. And, I just am surprised and amazed at like how these specials are becoming better, to say. to say the least, though, if specials are kind of like this, please make it like this because they're awesome. I mean, we got the last special we had was Zoomergency. That was also awesome. Just the fact that we're actually talking about a secondary character's family throughout the whole episode. This time around, it's more of a Halloween special with the Casagrandes, and it actually worked out in the end. Like, there's a huge, big plot that happened. And it all worked out just because they messed up, so they try to get themselves back to normal. And to do that, they have to give away candy. Nonetheless, though, I thought the plot was absolutely fine. The B plot was, like you said, Omi, kind of lackluster. But to say the least, though, it was kind of cool seeing the parents in costume as well. And the fact that continuity was also a huge thing in this episode as well. I mean, look, everybody's dressed up in their favorite characters, callbacks to previous episodes, and so much going around that, this special is what we wanted. The continuity to come through, and the fact that it's actually a fun episode. So, like, the episode was very engaging. Like, for me to watch it throughout the whole entire thing. I mean, there's some parts where I was like a little bit scared that the kids might get like kidnapped or something like that because of this candy goblin. So yeah, I was legit like, oh God, please don't let it happen to them. Don't let anything bad happen to Ronnie Ann. And also the thing is that the twist at the end also was pretty awesome as well, because I didn't expect Carlitos and Sergio to actually, be the culprits to become the culprits to become this candy goblin. And I thought it was like, ooh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, overall, honestly. Oh, go
on. Go ahead. Okay. Overall, I think it's fun. It's awesome. To say the least. I have to give this. I have to give this a high rating, though. I can't give it an 8.5. I gotta give it a 9. I think the B plot is the one that kind of like lacklusters when it comes to the grading of this episode. But like I said, overall fun. You get to see some scary parts, which is what a Halloween episode is supposed to do. And the continuity is absolutely on par. I love it. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me over here.
Yeah, see the thing. Had the B plot been much better, it definitely would have been like a higher rating for me. But as it stands, it's just still such a great Halloween treat. And also, not to mention the fact that the candy goblin was legit menacing. Like, oh my God. Like, the candy goblin was a great menacing antagonist.
He looked pretty creepy too. I mean, like, yeah, he was pretty much creeping around the whole kids. And the fact that he also was scared, like, he also gives like a scary vibe whenever like the kids disagree with him.
Yeah.
So it kind of tells me like, yeah, this candy goblin is actually pretty really creepy.
Yeah, one thing I got to say to the kids is that,
take one candy.
Take
one candy.
No, in terms of the ending, I got to say, tricked. You got tricked.
Oh, I also have one more question for you, Ami. Did you think this Halloween episode was better than New Haunts?
Oh, far better than New Haunts. Like, it is no contest. Like, this blows New Haunts out of the water. I like New Haunts. It was fine. But Curse of the Candy Goblin was the real Halloween treat for me in terms of Casagrandes episodes.
When you look back at, like, all of the Halloween episodes that the Casagrandes pulled off, you had New Haunts, you got Tales from the Crypt, and then you also have the Curse of the Candy Goblin. So I think the Curse of the Candy Goblin was pretty much, like, the best out of all the three of them that, came out. I mean, people would say that what was it? Tales from the Crypt was also a pretty good episode because it was also pretty scary, haunting as well. I think this one kind of does take the cake, like, of it being an awesome Halloween episode.
Oh yes, this really does take the cake. This takes the candy themed cake. Like, you got takes chocolate cake, and then you got all these like little bite sized Halloween mini candies, M&Ms, Reese's, all that stuff. Yeah, definitely takes the cake for sure.
It definitely does take cake, and I thought this was awesome. So yeah, overall, I think one of the best Halloween specials, probably on that same level with Tricked. It's kind of cool that Tricked is pretty much the Loud House's Halloween special, and then we also have Curse of the Candy Goblin, which is the Casagrandes Halloween special. To say the least, each of them have their own Halloween specials, and they're all really amazing. So I think they actually do really well when it comes to their Halloween episodes now. I mean, they have their Christmas episodes, you know what they are, and they're also really good. Now they have their Halloween episodes, and you see how you see how that went.
Yeah, they really nail it with their holiday specials. Now, they really do.
This kind of makes me think, can we have another, like, what was it? Loudest Thanksgiving for the Casagrandes side?
Yes. Make a sequel to Loudest Thanksgiving, but do it even better. The way you can make Loudest Thanksgiving, like the next Loudest Thanksgiving, even better is if you have more personal dialogue in between each Loud and Casagrande. Because that was honestly what I've been waiting for them to do, but unfortunately, they fell short on that part.
I know, and who knows? I mean, maybe they might do it. Maybe they might do it for season 3. We'll see. All right, so that's pretty much it for our reviews. Thank you very much for checking out how we reviewed our episodes. But to say the least, we actually got treated with some awesome Halloween episodes of Loud House and Casagrandes last Friday. Remember that you can also listen to our Loud Casa Talks anytime on our podcast providers like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Was it Anchor? Wherever you listen to podcasts, we'll all be there. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more Loud House and Casagrandes content. Just a heads up, we're not gonna have a new Loud Casa Talks mini episode for a while because I'll be off to KomoriCon. I'll be going off to a convention where I'm actually going to be meeting up with a couple of awesome characters from the Casagrandes. Obi, I think you already know who they are.
Yes, you're gonna meet Becky and you're gonna meet Charles Little Bull.
Yes, Charles Little Bull and Becky. So apparently Abby Trott, who is Becky, she's gonna be there at KomoriCon, and same goes to Robbie Damon. I didn't expect this, but he's also gonna be coming to KomoriCon. I'm pretty hyped about that. Plus, we also get some others as well, like Erica Mendez, Morgan Berry, Kara Buckland, Faye Mata, Teddy Lloyd, and the headliner band.
Bro, Teddy Lloyd. I envy you, man. Okay, now I met Teddy Lloyd myself. I got an autograph with this guy. I even went to his performance in Crunchyroll Expo. But man, I'm so envious of you, man.
I'm so excited because like I didn't know that. Well, the first thing that came to mind was like I didn't know that my press team was telling me like, dude, just wait until they announce Komori. Like we know who was going to be announced at KomoriCon. We just never announced it until they put it up on their public page, and then they said Teddy Lloyd's coming. Oh my god! DJ set, let's go.
Teddy Lloyd is S tier DJ, man. Like he is God tier DJ. I love him.
Dude, he made the Panty and Stocking soundtrack. That tells you how awesome his music is. Definitely.
And even aside from that, he still makes great music.
Either way, this is an awesome guest list. I can't wait for. I'll be up in KomoriCon and getting ready for that. So we will be able to make it, unfortunately. But if you want to check out what we're going to be doing at KomoriCon, please follow my Twitter at NateB39007. That's where I'll put up all my KomoriCon on my KomoriCon statuses. That's on Twitter. And then we also do have our CaliCon blog page over at Facebook. So hopefully you can check out what we're going to be doing the next 2 weeks over at KomoriCon there. Nonetheless, hey, I'm meeting up with Becky and Charles Little Bull.
I kind of wonder if you're going to ask Abby Trott about the
No, I am not. I am not going to talk about Gossipy Girl. Do not bring me into this. But from the screen cap I put up there, you already know what the question is going to be about, okay? All right. And also I got one more announcement to talk to you all about. Our next Loud Casa Talk Season 3 will be premiering November 14th. So that'll be Sunday, November 14th. We're going to be having our first episode as we discuss our first episode of Season 3 will be all about the Loud House movie, which we have never reviewed until November 14th. So yes. That's going to be our huge review. Me and Omid, we're going to break down everything from the movie, from the beginning all the way to the end, our ratings, the awesome things that are that happened in the movie, and all that kind of jazz.
You have no idea how long I've wanted to talk about the Loud House movie. Like, oh my god, I am so pumped. I am so ready. I'm marking my calendars for this, man. This is gonna be our great Season 3 premiere. We're gonna get off to a really perfect start.
Oh yeah, I definitely can't wait. And of course, it just has to be all finished with my vacation and everything. Either way, that's pretty much it for us here. My name is Nate.
And this is Omid, dressed up as Linsanity in the house, baby, along with my good roommate and sister, Lucy Loud. Wishing you all a happy Halloween. And until next time, smell you later, Louds.
And also happy Halloween to everybody out there. I hope you guys have a happy and safe Halloween. We'll see you guys on November 14th.
I love Halloween.